friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Gabby if you don't already know me, and I love all things personal finance, organization, and lifestyle. I am so glad you found my video today. I want to do my January reset. So main points for this video are going to be doing a quick overview of December. I want to get through it quick because it's in the past. New year, new me. After that, I want to jump into my new budget spreadsheet setup, and then I'll go through some of my monthly goals for January, and we will get into the budget for January. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for your support in 2023. I started this YouTube at the very end of the year, but I'm very grateful for every single one of my subscribers and viewers, and I really appreciate everyone who has purchased the budget spreadsheet so far. Let me know if you have any questions, and if not, let's dive right in. Hello everyone, I just finished filming and I am watching the footage back and I have like a new beauty mark. I have like a new little Marilyn Monroe mole on my face that I don't normally have, and I actually have no idea what it was. It looks like it's a tiny speck of dust. I have no idea what it was. I don't have a new beauty mark, but I don't hate it. I mean, like I would draw one on. I just don't have it. Ignore that. I'm not refilming this. This is the second time I filmed this. So enjoy the video. Bye. Let's have a look at the December budget. All right, I had a goal for December to spend less than $14.50 on all of my expenses for the month. And this is a lower expense amount for me personally. I was trying to hit a goal of spending that little for 2 months of the year, which I unfortunately did not hit. And then I think once I blew past that amount, I kind of just let things slide and I just stopped tracking my budget and just kind of lived my life. That wasn't amazing, but let's have a look at how the budget looked at the end of the year. All right, I had hoped to spend $14.50 as I mentioned, and I was at $18.15. So as I mentioned, once I blew past, I really blew past. I will say though, I usually budget from like the 27th to the 27th, and that way I can get these videos filmed and updated, and then this video up hopefully closer to the beginning of the month. I'm a little late this month, but usually I try to aim to be on or around the first of the month. And I just took the budget all the way to the end of December. I got paid my third paycheck at the end of December, so I included that in this budget, and then I included all my expenses for the extra like 4 days at the end of the month that I don't normally track. Kind of an excuse for why I'm over, but yeah, an excuse nonetheless. So let's have a look. So I budgeted $300 for groceries and I was under this, and I actually would have been quite a bit under this had I not accidentally had my HelloFresh go through. So I actually ended up canceling this because I just keep forgetting to skip it. We'll see in the new year if I jump back on the HelloFresh, but I've just been liking meal prepping and grocery shopping and just keeping my costs a little bit low. It was kind of expensive. It was like $83 for 3 meals. Like that's kind of expensive. Yeah. So anyway, this was gonna be like $100, 100 and something, and I blew over to $215, but still below. But I went above on my eating out, so that's kind of where I made up for the difference. I paid for like a bigger dinner that me and my boyfriend went to. It was like a very nice spot in Calgary. It's called Major Tom. It's like a bougier spot. We had a very nice dinner there, and I ended up paying for it just because he grabbed a lot of our dinners in November. And then I definitely ate out just more in general. I saw some friends, some family. I expected this, that's why my budget was higher, but $125 was the low ball. I also, if you saw my December budget with me, I have updated the budget numbers a little bit as the month went on, just because I ended up making a purchase at the beginning of the month and I kind of had to change my other categories to still hit the $14.50. So we'll chat about that when it comes up. Coffee, I was barely over, not a huge deal, not upset about it. Transportation, I was over, and this is because I bought some gas for my brother. He let me use his car the entire 2 weeks I was home, and I was driving around, and yeah, I gassed him up just to be fair. Shopping, I was below by $1, but this is the category that I was talking about where I spent some money at the beginning of the month and then I kind of had to like tweak all the rest of my categories. I ended up having a couple of my earrings fall out and I don't know where they went, and they're like the little huggy ones, and I needed them really badly for especially my cartilage piercing. I feel like it could fill in. I purchased a couple of little huggy earrings from Ana Luisa, and they were still doing their Black Friday sale, so it was very discounted and they're like 18 karat gold, very good quality, and I'm very happy with my purchase. It was just not what I was aiming to do for December. I said no shopping at all, and unfortunately I did end up shopping. And I also, this isn't just that, this includes some Sephora I bought at the end of November as well. But yeah, I updated the budget to be 230 so that I wasn't over on it, and then I just tweaked the rest of my categories to fit that. I was over on beauty, and this was because I had to get a touch up for my Botox that I wasn't expecting. I still had like full forehead movement. So we needed to fix that. You see that? We're better now. I was over on drinking and weed. This was mainly alcohol. I think almost 80 bucks of this is for beers at NHL games. I went to a Canucks game and I went to a Flames game, and I got some cash from some friends and bought like a round. So a good chunk of this was for that entirely. I also bought a bottle of wine for a gift, things like that. Fun. I believe, what was this over for? I can't even remember what this is. Likely, oh yeah, I paid for me and my boyfriend to do karaoke after my Christmas party, and then I think there's just like a couple small things that happen here and there. Oh, and I think I also included in this category, I got some ear piercings. I literally sporadically was like, I want ear piercings, and I went and got them. So that's also been fun. Orlando, my cat, basically right on the money. Health, I was under, which is good because I was having a lot of health costs with my supplements and everything like that. Gifts, I was over, so I definitely lowballed my gift. I think even in my last reset, it was even lower than this. And then I kind of thought about it twice and was like, oh, I have to grab a couple more gifts. And me and my boyfriend weren't gonna do gifts or like an expensive gift. But then last minute, he was like, oh, just letting you know, I got you a really nice gift. And I was like, okay, well, fuck, I need to go get a gift now. So yeah, there was just some gifts I wasn't fully anticipating. Not mad about it, totally happy with it. But yes, over by 120. And then donations, I was right on the money with my donations. I said that was something I wanted to work on. So I ended up making a donation at the end of the month. And my bills were a little higher than I expected as well. So my mobile was higher, and that's because I pay for my family's family plan, and then everyone just e-transfers me. And my brother went to the States, so he had some roaming charges that he had to pay for, but this is not coming from my pocket. This is just like what's sitting on my credit card. And then utilities is where I put my Canva subscription, so that went through in December as well. I got Canva Pro for the year. Savings, I ended up saving a little over $1,000, which is super awesome. I'm very, very happy with that. And I ended up investing $1,750. I ended up actually investing more, but that investment went through in January. So my paycheck was on the 29th. I just didn't transfer it until like January 1st. So I actually transferred over an additional $500. That is going to show up in my January budget with me. And credit cards, I ended up transferring a little bit extra onto my card. So this is so high because of November's spending. So I'm like a month behind, but I did pay off an additional amount on my RBC card. So that's why that is at $25.98. All right, so that is the wrap up for December. It was definitely not my like highest spend month or anything like that. Obviously it was like attempting to be a low spend month, but I didn't hit my goal. So it kind of feels like a failure a little bit, but let's have a quick look at the totals. So my 50-30-20 split looks really good actually, about 45% savings, 29% needs, 25% wants, which is, I think, like an ideal split realistically. So, you know, sometimes you don't hit a goal and you feel bad about it, but realistically, like, this is actually a really great outcome. And then for once in my goddamn life, my shopping wasn't my highest category, my eating out was. So, you know, swapped one for the other. Actually, no, gifts was higher actually. All right. Now let's dive into setting up my budget for 2024. This is the same planner. We are just going to be setting it up for a new year. So we're going to go to the setup category and I will just quickly run through everything here. So my financial categories are going to stay predominantly the same. The only thing is, as I mentioned, I have split up my shopping into clothing, home, and miscellaneous. And that way I can kind of track exactly where everything is going and see how much I'm actually spending on clothes, because I see shopping and in my head I'm like, oh my god, I bought all of it on clothes, but sometimes it's just random items that pop up. I've added Etsy to my income, and that way I can track specifically how much I am making from Etsy. I also will include a tax refund portion so I can just track how much I made from my tax refund, and I think everything else is basically the same. I have all of my sinking funds loaded in here, but what I'm going to predominantly do is send money to my Wealthsimple Cash, which is my high interest savings account. And that is just because my buckets in Wealthsimple are only making like 1 point something percent interest. So I wanted to make sure that everything was getting the most interest possible. So I will just be dumping money into that Wealthsimple Cash, but I need to figure out a system for tracking how much of that amount is going into each category, because I do do still want to track how much I have saved for specific things. Like my cat sinking fund I've been working on for a while, so I do want to track exactly how much money I have there. My bills are predominantly the same. I think the only thing that's new is Canva, and then there's also Epidemic Sound, but I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be paying for Epidemic Sound. I might swap over to another service. I'm just not 100% sold on Epidemic Sound yet. Yeah, that's the only changes there. I have a few less credit cards than I did last year, so that's great. Yeah, if you see the man next to my investment accounts, that is the managed accounts in Wealthsimple. So those are robo advisors where they invest your money for you. And then I have my self-driven accounts as well. I think I am going to predominantly be buying stocks in my self-driven accounts this year, just so I can avoid some of those fees. I will talk a little bit more about my investing goals in a little bit. Once you fill in these categories here, all of your budget setups are going to populate down here. So all you need to do is just fill in all the relevant information and things should auto-fill in themselves. The interest rates and account fees are just more so for you to track yourself, but things like statement dates and due dates, as long as you put in a number, these will auto-populate into the calendar in the calendar tab, and that way you can see all of your bills on a big calendar spread. All right, let's dive in to my January goals. So I did actually go through and populate my annual goals into my spreadsheet as well, but I haven't added in any images yet, but these are just taken straight from my Notion that I went through in my last 2 videos. I went through all of these in depth there. We'll just be jumping straight into my January goals. So I have 3 main goals that I want to prioritize and kind of break down into different steps and things I need to look at. So my first goal is to book therapy in January. And this seems so straightforward and like this shouldn't be my top 3 goal. This seems like it should just be a quick step. But for some reason, I just have so many barriers in my brain to therapy. I don't know why. It's just been something I've been wanting to do for like 6 months. It's been on my monthly to do for 6 months and I just haven't done it. So I just kind of broke down all of the things that are like preventing me from booking it right here. So I kind of need to like review my insurance plan, how much I'm going to be expecting to pay for each session. I have no idea. I haven't looked into any of the back end stuff. These are all the things that I've just kind of thought quickly about that are in my head that are preventing me from booking it right away. My next goal is to be in bed at 10 p.m. on weekdays. And I have been trying to do this week and I have failed every single day. So some of the things I think that are not working for me right now is I need to figure out exactly how much time I need for my night routine. I just keep underestimating how long it takes me to do like my skincare, make my dessert. I just think it takes me 10 minutes and it really just doesn't. So need to look at that portion of it. And then on top of that, I am loving Fourth Wing so much that I am reading for longer than 30 minutes. So I need to be in bed a little earlier if I'm very hyped on my book, clearly. And then on top of that, sometimes when I'm done reading, I'll pick my phone up quickly and then I'll start scrolling on my phone. So I think I might need to charge my phone across the room. I'm also having trouble sleeping. So after all of this hullabaloo, I just cannot fall asleep either. And my boyfriend is a night owl. He goes to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning. And obviously he's not sitting outside in silence. He is doing things. And we have a cat that likes to come and go out of the bedrooms. And he also knows how to open the bedroom door. So even if I close that door, he is opening it. And then I have the light seeping in from outside into the bedroom that is causing me to stay awake. We also have this giant construction site out our window and they have a floodlight that is on at all times and it comes through the blinds as well. So I'm thinking eye mask, I'm thinking earplugs. I also need a new pillow. We need a new mattress. Like the whole sleeping situation needs a whole revamp. That is one of my biggest goals for this year, is to get better sleep and to prioritize my sleep. And these are all of the little things that I need to think about. And then my last goal is to work on my Notion template. So I was hoping to have this more ready for my January reset, and that way I could show you guys a little bit of it, but it has just not been a priority with YouTube and my Etsy store. So yeah, my goal for the month is to get that sorted. And then I have a couple of additional goals. These are more like quick items, not as important if I do it or not, just things I might want to do when I have extra time, that kind of thing. So I want to get a frame for my art in my office. I want to post 1 short a week. I want to start running again at least 1 to 2 times a week. I want to do a half marathon, so need to start tapering my running back up again. I want to spend less than $17.50 for January, so that is like a new annual goal that I'm going to start. I want to buy a sad lamp that was recommended by my naturopath for vitamin D levels and just living in Vancouver. I also want to find a cabinet on Facebook Marketplace if I can. So I just want to keep an eye out for what is available. I might not find it this month, I might find it later, but just making the habit of checking Facebook Marketplace more often. I want to make a clothing wish list and then see if I can thrift or find those items used before buying them outright. I think I also will do a video on my clothing wish list when I have this figured out. I love watching people's wish list videos. I think those are so fun without being wasteful and buying a bunch of stuff. And then I also want to book a U-Haul so that we can swap our mattress. So this goes hand in hand with our sleeping arrangement situation. We currently have a double mattress and my boyfriend swore it was a queen and I used to have a queen. And so we swapped my mattress out for his, but we've realized his is a double. And so we've been sleeping on a double with a cat for 2.5 years and I am done. I need a bigger bed and we're gonna have to book a U-Haul to swap the mattresses, but that is definitely happening this month. And then I want to start brainstorming for my next Etsy product. I want to just take a little breather from Etsy. I put a ton of work into this spreadsheet and so I'm just enjoying the extra time on my hands for the next couple of weeks, and then I will start looking at how I can create my next product. All right, let's dive into the January budget. Working on a weekend So I am filming this on the 5th. I apologize for how late this video will be going up into the month. I am so excited about these monthly resets that I love when people upload them early, and that way I can watch it, absorb it, and then, take some of those learnings or ideas into my month when I set up my own budget. So I'm very sorry that this is as late as it is, but I have actually spent money. Obviously, it's the 5th of the month. There's some stuff I bought on New Year's Eve that I did roll over into January. So you're gonna see some of my expenses have actual values already in there. And I think this is kind of fun though, because I can tweak my budget to fit what I've already bought. Because sometimes when I'm sitting down and setting a budget, I forget all of the random things that I have to pay for. Let's dive in. So my expected income is $5,100 and I also get $170 for my mobile plan that I need to account for. And then you're gonna see $1,100 that came out of my sinking funds for my actual, and this is because I made a mistake. I requested to pay my credit card through my credit card issuer, and then it said my credit card was paid off. So I assumed that had been deducted out of my checking account, and then I threw a bunch of money onto my other cards because I was like, oh, let's start the year fresh and have low credit card balances. And so I transferred a bunch of money onto my credit cards. I sent money to my retirement. I added extra money all over the place, thinking that money, everything was accounted for. And then my credit card transfer went through on my checking and I got a text saying that I was negative. And I was negative $1,000 because I had sent that money out. Yes, that was a big mistake on my end. So I did end up having to pull some money out of my sinking funds for that, but that should come back eventually at the end of the month. Everything should balance back out. I just invested a good chunk of it, so maybe I'll just invest less. I don't know, we'll figure it out. I'd rather have investments versus savings anyway, so I'm not mad about it. It happened. We're moving forward, but you can see I have $43 in my checking. So let's have a look at the investments and savings, because I believe in paying yourself first, so that should be the first thing that happens after you look at your income. I want to save $450, so this is $225 per paycheck, and this is in line with my financial goals that I set up. And then I want to be investing $1,550, which is the $725 per paycheck that I talked about as well in my financial goals. So this is a little bit higher than I was investing at the end of last year. So I'm very happy to see a little bit of less money going to savings, a little bit more going to investing, and hopefully I can start to taper my expenses down a little bit. Lifestyle inflation was out of control. Hopefully with these slower months where I just want to sit at home and chill and relax, I can hopefully not spend too much money and we can get a little bit more money going into investments. That would be my goal. Credit card pay will be low just because I did do that big lump sum transfer at the end of December, $1,365, even though I spent quite a bit more than that last month. And then let us set a budget now. So it is telling me I have $532 remaining. So this budget spreadsheet that I am showing you today is meant for credit card users. This total remaining does not actually look at your expenses for the month. So everything is assumed to be spent on credit. If that isn't the case, obviously when you do your actuals, it will show up differently, but it expects that you spend all of your expenses on credit, and that means that you don't actually have to pay for those expenses this month. You will be paying for those expenses next month. So next month, for example, let's just say I actually spent $1,600. I would go to my February and I would say that my credit card bill is going to be $1,600, and then that way it's going to deduct correctly from here for me for that situation, if that makes sense. Let us go through the budget then. So my groceries, so typically how my relationship works with my boyfriend is we try to split things equally. Like we split our rent equally, we split a lot of things equally, but we used to do a system of we would pay for things ourselves and then we would just add it to a Splitwise, and then that way we would track exactly how much we owed each other. But we noticed that over time we would never actually transfer ourselves any money. It was just a mechanism to track how much we owed each other, and so we just haven't really kept up with it. It's just a lot of energy and effort to upload every single thing that we bought for each other into Splitwise. So we are actually going to look this year into either a joint account to pay bills off of, but I think what we're leaning more towards is an additional credit card that is our couple credit card, where we buy things like groceries, eating out on that card, and then we both just split the balance and transfer that money to that card together, if that makes sense. So I usually end up buying more groceries than he does, and then he usually ends up buying more eating out, restaurant, dinner dates than I do. So I will say that our groceries will be a little higher. I'm gonna go $400 just because I don't plan on buying anything personally eating out, and obviously I buy a little bit more of the groceries than he does. And transportation, I already got gas for the month, so that was $115 yesterday, and I do expect a little bit of parking here and there, maybe an Uber, maybe, yeah, hard to say. I'm gonna go with $135, call it $20 for parking and all that. Hopefully that's fine. Eating out, I personally think I am gonna say $40. I don't think I'm gonna eat out at all. Drinking and weed, so this is the category I should have 0 here, but as you can see, I've already spent some money. So I bought a bottle of champagne on New Year's, and then I bought a couple of edibles as well. So that is at $54. So I'm gonna put this exactly at $54.69 because I will not be spending another cent in this category for the rest of the month because I'm doing sober January. Clothes, I am gonna say, I think I did have 2 items from Aritzia I wanted to buy, but I think it's total gonna be $65. So I think I'm gonna do 100 for this category, which might be the lowest this category has ever been for me in the past 2 years. If I could actually do this, I'm gonna be very, very proud of myself. Beauty, I'm gonna say 50. I don't expect anything to run out or need to be replaced, but there's just always something that runs out. There's just always something as a girly. Fun, oh yes, so $284. So I did already I bought some concert tickets for the summer. This is for 2 tickets for me and my boyfriend, and I also bought us our New Year's Eve event day of. I bought them New Year's Eve day, so that was $85. So I purchased that as well. So we were just gonna say $285, and I think I do not need to spend any more than that. My cat, usually he's about $75 for food. Health, I spent some money on my supplements that I needed to buy, but I also need to buy a sad lamp. That is one of my goals. So I was having a look on Amazon. Those are around $65 for a higher quality one. So I'm gonna say $250 in this category to leave myself a little room if for some reason something else runs out, like our protein powder or anything like that. Gifts, 0. Ain't nobody getting a gift after December. Home, I do wanna buy that cabinet if it's available, and then I think I would put our U-Haul expense here as well. So I'm gonna go 125, and hopefully that covers it. And then miscellaneous, I already spent $85 in this category, and that was because I had a parking ticket. I had a parking ticket that I didn't know I got. The ticket must have come off my dash when I drove off, or I have no idea. I never received the ticket. I got notices in the mail that I had missed the payment. The price of the ticket went up to $120, something crazy. I argued with them that I just never got it, and finally got it down to $85. I did end up paying for that this month. So miscellaneous, we're gonna call it $85. So that is a $1,600 budget, and that is pretty low for me, and seems like a little bit of a stretch if I'm being completely honest, but I like the challenge, and if I need to, I still have $150 before I hit that no longer below $1,750 for expenses. So that is phenomenal. All right, investments and savings are gonna be the same. These are an auto investment, auto savings. If I really do have $500 left over, I probably will just top up my sinking fund that I pulled that $1,100 out of. As I mentioned, I sent $500 to my retirement, so that's kind of where that money is going. And yeah, I think that this is a good budget, a good place to start for the month, and I am looking forward to it. So thank you so much for joining me. I am trying to figure out exactly what these resets are going to be for my channel. I'm trying to figure out my style, and I think that budgeting is like my number one. This is like the most important thing for me. This is something I do religiously every month, but I do want to start incorporating maybe some monthly reflections on how the month went. I think that would be a good exercise just to like reflect on how the month went as a whole. And I do also think I want to introduce a couple items that I like to do at the beginning of every month. It might be some like house cleaning, it might be digital cleaning, like cleaning out my phone, camera roll, all that kind of stuff. But I think I will just end it here because we did a lot of resetting for 2024 and for January. So I really appreciate you joining me for this video. Let me know if you want to see anything in the future in these resets. I would love to hear it. This budget spreadsheet will be in the description box below if you are interested. It's 65% off. It's like $11, so great deal for this budget spreadsheet. And I will be doing a full video on how to use the spreadsheet. I know that these seem really overwhelming and very difficult, but really it is as simple as just setting up and then inputting your expenses every month. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye. You changed overnight. You